Hello, Internet. Welcome back to the Story Nook. Today we are going to be reading some more Wizard of Oz, which is going to be great. And happy 23rd of December. That is when I am recording this, and it's going to go up the same day, essentially, as soon as I'm done. I did go see Wicked last night. It was awesome. I loved it. I've only heard the soundtrack, like I said. Oh dear, I am wearing my work badge around my neck. I have not been home long. I got home, had some leftover biscuits from the morning before, and put some ham and cheese on it, and was just like biscuit sandwich. But yeah, we're back. And I believe last time we read chapter 19, which is Attack of the Fighting Trees, and now we are on chapter 20, which in this little speaky is XX, and it's the Dainty China country. So go ahead, grab your tea, your coffee, your milk, your lemonade, your liquor, whatever it is you want to drink as we read today. I am currently drinking Canada Dry Cranberry Ginger Ale. I love it, and I wish I had a stockpile of it because I know come New Year's it will no longer be on the shelves. But damn, do I want more of it. So let us begin. Here we have our beautiful drawing. We have a kind of clown looking dude, a lady with a chair and a cow with a fancy hat, and Alice leaning on Weil. Oh, I'm sorry, that was a hiccup. While the woodman was making a ladder from the wood, which he found in the forest, Dorothy lay down and slept, for she was tired by the long walk. The lion also curled himself up to sleep, and Toto lay beside him. The Scarecrow watched the woodman while he worked, and said to him, "I cannot think why this wall is here, nor what it is made of." Blah, blah, blah. Right. Moving things around. "Rest your brains and do not worry about the wall," replied the woodman. "When we have climbed over it, we shall know what it is on the other side." Sorry, I wanted to light a candle, bring some ambiance to my room. After a time, the ladder was finished. It looked clumsy, but the Tin Woodman was short, was strong, and would answer their purpose. That is my phone getting notifications. The Scarecrow waked Dorothy and the lion and Toto, and told them that the ladder was ready. The Scarecrow climbed up the ladder first, but he was so awkward that Dorothy had to follow close behind and keep him from falling off. When he got his head over the top of the wall, the Scarecrow said, "Oh my!" "Go on!" exclaimed Dorothy. So the Scarecrow climbed further up and sat down on the top of the wall, and Dorothy put her head over and cried, "Oh my!" just as the Scarecrow had done. When Toto came up and immediately began to bark, but Dorothy made him be still. The lion climbed the ladder next, and the Tin Woodman came last, but both of them cried, "Oh my!" as soon as they looked over the wall. When they were all sitting in a row on top of the wall, they looked down and saw a strange sight. Before them was a great stretch of country having a floor as smooth and shiny and white as the bottom of a big platter. Scattered around there were many houses made entirely of china and painted in the brightest colors. These houses were quite small, and the biggest of them reaching only as high as Dorothy's waist. Wait, are we in like No, Munchkin Land is different. Is this miniature train set land? Tea party land? There were also pretty little barns with china fences around them, and many cows and sheep and horses and pigs and chickens, all made of china, were standing about in groups. But the strangest of all were the people who lived in this queer country. Remember, this book was published in 1900. Queer at the time meant odd or strange. We have to consider what the words they used back then meant, because languages and words, they grow to mean other and different things. And the internet helps carry that language further and quicker. That's why a lot of younger teens, they have like all this weird, strange slang that I don't get even though I'm only 30. And it's because their language is rapidly evolving because they're online all the time and they can make new words and they just grow into like their little zeitgeist. So just taking a moment for that. There were milkmaids and shepherdesses with bright colored bodices and golden spots all over their gowns, and the princesses with most gorgeous frocks of silver and gold and purple, and shepherds dressed in knee breeches with pink and yellow and blue stripes down them, and golden buckles on their shoes, and princes with jeweled crowns upon their heads, wearing ermine robes and satin doublets. I don't know what ermine means. So we're going to pop that into Chrome real quick. We're just going to pop it into my Google. I type in ermine and I get stout, which is a little weasel. Here, definition. Ermine is a noun that can refer to a small wild weasel with white fur in the winter and brown in the summer. Okay, so there's rank, the position, rank, or functions of some European judges or peers whose state robe is trimmed with ermine. So, okay. So this line right here, there's jeweled crowns upon their head. They're wearing ermine robes. So, I guess these robes are made out of a specific kind of like white rodent fur or brown rodent fur, kind of like a weasel or a stout, or based off the photos I saw on Chrome, a whatchamacallit, ferret. The little ferret weaselly long noodle rope Pokemon that in Pokemon Stadium plays like peekaboo and throws balls at you in one of the mini games. Cintrit, that's the name of that Pokemon. That's a well form. So it's either made out of fur or it's lined with fur. Satin doublets. I don't know what a doublet is. I'm presuming it's a type of clove at this point. And funny clowns with ruffled gowns with round red spots upon their cheeks and tall pointed caps. And strangest of all, these people were all made of china, even to their clothes, and were so small that the tallest of them was no higher than Dorothy's knee. So, this is amusing to me specifically because I used to collect China dolls, not completely. My mom had a small collection of China dolls, and I was given some by a cafeteria lunch lady. I was in elementary school, and it was before I was homeschooled. So this would have been like kindergarten. In kindergarten, they gave me a little porcelain baby doll. It was like really tiny. It fit in the size of my hand. Fun fact. It was really nice. I believe I got it as a birthday or a Christmas gift from them. They were really sweet. I think they also kept trying to give me more food because I was so small. So, like, when I was there, I would have been 5 years old. I looked like a 2-year-old. I was that small as a child. I just was not gaining weight for whatever reason. But I was constantly eating. I ate beans and vegetables and all that all day long, every single day. The only things I wouldn't eat was meat, which may have affected my growth, but I doubt it. I was just not growing. Most people in my family are short anyway. But hearing this description, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of like those little China dolls I was given as gifts over the years, and then the ones like my mom had that she got. My sister didn't like them. She found them creepy. So we kept them in a different china cabinet where she wouldn't have to see them. No one did so much as to look at the travelers at first, except one little purple china dog with an extra large head, which came to the wall and barked at them in a tiny voice, afterward running away again. How shall we get down? Asked Dorothy. They found the ladder so heavy they could not pull it up. So the Scarecrow fell off the wall and the others jumped down upon him so that the hard floor would not hurt their feet. Yes, let's use the man made out of straw as cushion. Hopefully it is enough cushion. Send the lion down next. He's got strong joints and he's fluffy. Of course, they took pains not to light on his head and get the pins in their feet. This is light. I don't know if this is what the original one says or if that should be land and it was a typo for whenever this version of the book was printed that Internet Archive used as a for the PDF version. So I find that interesting, unless light means to land as well in the 1900s. It very well could have been interesting otherwise. When all were safely down, they picked up the Scarecrow, whose body was quite flattened out, and patted his straw into shape again. We must cross this strange place in order to get to the other side, said Dorothy, for it would be unwise for us to go any other way except due south. They began walking through the country of the China people, and the first thing they came to was a China milkmaid milking a China cow. As they drew near, the cow suddenly gave a kick and kicked over the stool, the pail, and even the milkmaid herself all falling on the China ground with a great clatter. Ooh, we have an illustration. So we got Dorothy and Toto looking at these people, and they each have their own, like, little stand that they're on in this illustration, which I think is interesting, because to me that just says they're little, like, figures made out of China, and then they got, like, a little stand. And it's pretty much, we're playing Tea Party kind of area. That's cool. Dorothy was shocked to see that the cow had broken her leg short off and that the pail was lying in several small pieces, while the poor milkmaid had a nick in her left elbow. There, cried the milkmaid angrily. See what you have done. My cow has broken her leg. I must take her to the mender's shop and have it glued on again. What do you mean by coming here and frightening my cow? I'm very sorry, returned Dorothy. Please forgive us. But the pretty milkmaid was much too vexed to make any answer. Sorry, I got a text from my husband. She picked up the leg soakingly and led her cow away, the poor animal limping on 3 legs. As she left them, the milkmaid cast many reproachful glances over her shoulder at the clumsy strangers, holding her nicked elbow close to her side. Dorothy was quite grieved at this mishap. We must be very careful here, said the kind-hearted woodman. Oh, hold on. I didn't read ahead to see who's saying what lines. We must be very careful here, says the kind-hearted woodman, or we may hurt these pretty little people so they will never get over it. A little further on, Dorothy met a most beautifully dressed young princess, who stopped short as she saw the strangers and started to run away. Dorothy wanted to see more of the princess, so she ran after her, but the China girl cried out, "Don't chase me! Don't chase me!" She had such a frightened little voice that Dorothy stopped and said, "Why not?" "Because," answered the princess, also stopping a safe distance away, "if I run, I may fall down and break myself." "But could you not be mended?" asked the girl. "Oh, yes, but one is never so pretty after being mended, you know," replied the princess. "I suppose not," said Dorothy. Now, there is Mr. Joker, one of our clowns, continued the China Princess, who is always trying to stand upon his head. He has broken himself so often that he is mended in 100 pieces, and doesn't look at all pretty. Here he comes now, so you can see for yourself. Indeed, a jolly little clown came walking toward them, and Dorothy could see that in spite of his pretty clothes of red and yellow and green, he was completely covered in cracks, running every which way and showing plainly that he had been mended in many places. The clown put his hands in his pockets, and after puffing out his cheeks and nodding his head at them saucily, he said, my lady fair, why do you stare at poor old Mr. Joker? You're quite as stiff and prim as if you eaten up a poker. Be quiet, sir, said the princess. Can't you see these are strangers and should be treated with respect? Well, that's respect I expect, declared the clown, and immediately stood upon his head. Don't mind Mr. Joker, said the princess to Dorothy. He is constantly cracked in his head, and that makes him foolish. Oh, I don't mind him a bit, said Dorothy, but you are so beautiful, she continued, that I am sure I could love you dearly. Won't you let me carry you back to Kansas and stand you on M's mantel shelf? I could carry you in my basket. That would make me very unhappy, answered the China Princess. You see, here in our country, we live contentedly, and can talk and move around as we please, but whenever any of us are taken away, our joints at once stiffen, and we can only stand straight and look pretty. Of course, that is all that is expected of us when we are on mantel shelves and cabinets and drawing room tables, but our lives are much pleasanter here in our own country. I would not make you unhappy for all the world, exclaimed Dorothy, so I'll just say goodbye. Goodbye, replied the princess. They walked carefully through the China country. The little animals and all the people scampered out of their way, fearing the strangers would break them, and after an hour or so the travelers reached the other side of the country and came to another China wall. It was not so high as the first, however, and by standing upon the lion's back they all managed to scramble to the top. Then the lion gathered his legs under him and jumped on the wall. But just as he had jumped, he upset a China church with his tail and smashed it all to pieces. Damn! You just ruined a church and they're in there praising Jesus or whatever God they believe in, probably ours. And I'm just like, all these people going, no, we're dead. God is angry with us. That was too bad, said Dorothy, but I really think we were lucky in not doing these little people more harm than breaking a cow's leg in a church. They were all so brittle. They are indeed, said the Scarecrow, and I am thankful I am made of straw and cannot be easily damaged. There are worse things in the world than being a scarecrow. And this is the clown with his hat standing on his head, and that is the next chapter, which is chapter 21. So thank you all for joining me here as we've reread chapter 20 of Wizard of Oz. I look forward to seeing y'all here tomorrow as I read chapter 21 on Christmas Eve and then chapter 22 on Christmas Day. I'm going to go ahead and pre-record those. Also, we have made it to 50 subscribers onto the Story Nook channel, which is, yay, makes me so happy. I saw that as I was uploading the last chapter last night before I went to go see Wicked. So, yay. Super happy about that. Just absolutely ecstatic. That makes me awesome to, like, have made it to 50 subscribers before New Year's. That's great. Maybe next year, by the end of the year, we'll make it to 100. Who knows? Be awesome if we did. But remember to subscribe if you want to see more of these videos. I've got my main channel, Chrissy Duffy, where I do like art videos and let's plays, and I'm doing some anime reviews and some stuff over there. A lot of my Sonic content is there. As you can see, this VTuber is very Sonic coded. If you want to help support me, you can check out my Patreon and my Ko-fi. Supporters get to see my artwork and stuff there early. I have commissions open on Ko-fi. I'm going to be putting voice acting commissions up there probably starting in the new year. I've got my Redbubble if you want to get any of my artwork on t-shirts. You can see some of the designs that I have on Redbubble going over in like this little corner. So I got like a little chow of a knife. I've got a lot of things with knives. I just designed a lot of stuff with knives. So like I've got multiple different uteruses, like the different shapes, the regular uterus, the bicuriated uterus, the septated uterus, and all of those. They each have like their own knife. Sometimes you just want trash pizza, and then I've got my Pride mermaids, which I love, and a chibi version of me holding art brushes, and yeah, and some turtles. My husband really likes turtles, so I designed turtle stickers for him. Thank you all for being here. Remember to stay safe, stay healthy, stay hydrated, all that good jazz. Bye-bye!